Radu Dagaru grew up in Romania, in a town where the air was heavy and the money was easy, if you knew how to take it. He was raised between grey apartment blocks and the cold rules of street life. By his late 20s, Radu had mastered the basics. How to break into a shop, how to forge a passport, how to vanish in a foreign city. But in 2012, Radu wanted more. Money was one thing. Glory, that was different. He craved the kind of job that would make people whisper his name beyond the backstreets of Romania. His closest ally was Adrian Procaru, quiet, sharp-eyed, with hands that moved faster than thought. They had pulled off heists together before, but nothing like what was coming. Their destination was Amsterdam. Their target, the Kunsthal Museum. A modern gallery holding masterpieces by Matisse, Monet, Picasso. No permanent guards. Just cameras and an alarm system. To Radu, that sounded like an open invitation. They weren't acting alone. There was one more man. Octavian. His job, to secure a buyer. Octavian had connections, and he swore that private collectors would pay fortunes for stolen art. No questions asked. Once sold, the paintings would disappear forever, sealed away in hidden mansions. For Radu, this was the big one, the job that would let him walk away for good. Octavian promised the same. Only Adrian stayed silent. He didn't need promises. If this worked, they would all become legends. But the plan had to be perfect. One mistake, and it was prison. Or worse. What they didn't know. The real danger wasn't the police. It was waiting for them at home, in the shape of a mother and a fire. Radu didn't trust luck. He trusted preparation. Back in Romania, the three men gathered in a cramped apartment, the air thick with cigarette smoke and quiet calculations. Radu led. He had studied the Kunsthal's blueprint obsessively. He knew there were no guards at night, only motion detectors, cameras, and a security company on call. But technology wasn't the problem. Time was. Once the alarm tripped, the private security would respond in less than 3 minutes. They had to get in, grab the paintings, and vanish in under 120 seconds. The plan was ruthless in its simplicity. They would strike just before dawn, when the city slept deepest. Adrian would handle the break-in. He had the skill to bypass doors without a sound. Radu would pick the paintings. He'd already memorized the exact spots of the most valuable ones. Matisse's Lollizoos, Monet's Waterloo Bridge, Picasso's Tête d'Arlequin, plus works by Gauguin, Lucian Freud, and Meyer de Haan. 6 paintings. 6 fortunes. They practiced relentlessly. Adrian even built a makeshift door to rehearse bypassing locks in seconds. Timing was everything. One misstep, one delay, and the police would catch them inside the museum, trapped with nothing but cold steel and handcuffs. Octavian's role was clear. Once they had the paintings, he'd reach out to the black market contacts in Eastern Europe. There was already interest from unnamed collectors who wanted pieces no one else could own. No matter the risk, no matter the price. The getaway was mapped. A stolen car, plates swapped, parked discreetly nearby. The route out of Amsterdam was planned to the minute, leading back to Romania where the paintings would be hidden. Every angle seemed covered. But in every plan, there's the one thing you can't account for. What happens when family gets involved? It was just past 3 a.m. on October 16, 2012. Amsterdam was asleep. The city's lights flickered low, streets empty, the air soaked in rain and silence. Radu, Adrian, and a third accomplice slipped through the dark toward the Kunsthal. They wore dark clothes, gloves, masks, not for show but survival. The stolen car waited 2 blocks away. Engine cold. Adrian led the way to the museum's side entrance. No words, just nods. He pulled tools from his jacket. Thin, precise, silent. In under a minute, the door yielded. No alarms yet. Inside, the museum was still. The walls bore the weight of priceless art, each frame a fortune. But time was bleeding. The clock was ticking. Then the alarm triggered. The system had caught them. A silent signal raced to the private security company. The guards were on their way. They had less than 2 minutes now. Radu moved fast. He knew exactly what he wanted. First the Matisse, then Monet, Picasso, Gauguin, Freud, de Haan. He ripped the canvases from the walls with trained hands, cutting them free, rolling them tight. Adrian stayed on lookout, counting the seconds in his head. 90 seconds in. They had the art. They ran. Out the door, back through the alleys, breath sharp and short. The getaway car was there. Engine roared. They vanished into the Amsterdam night just as the first patrols arrived. Total time inside. 97 seconds. They made it. 6 masterpieces. Stolen clean. By morning, the world was screaming. Headlines called it the theft of the century. But what they couldn't know yet was that one of them had just made a promise. A promise to his mother. And that promise would burn everything. Back in Romania, the paintings were hidden. Rolled, wrapped, untouched, for now. Radu was calm. Adrian, as always, was silent. But the third man, Eugen, he made a mistake. He talked. First to his girlfriend, then to his mother. He told them what he'd done, what the paintings were worth. He bragged that they had beaten the system, that soon they'd be rich beyond anything their town had seen. But greed doesn't stay quiet. Word traveled fast. And within days, the Romanian police were listening. Eugen's mother, Olga, was terrified. She wasn't just worried for her son's freedom. She was obsessed with shame, with the scandal this would bring. A village woman, terrified of police, terrified of prison. She begged him to return the paintings, to destroy them, to make it all disappear. Eugen laughed it off. He was sure they were untouchable. But then the police came knocking. Not with evidence, not yet, but with pressure. Threats. Warnings. And Olga broke. She waited until Eugen was gone. Then she went to the hiding place, a garage behind their house. She took the paintings, one by one. She carried them to the old stove, the same one she used to heat the house in winter. And she fed them to the fire. The flames ate through Monet, Matisse, Picasso. Centuries of art turned to smoke, because a mother wanted to save her son. By the time Eugen found out, it was too late. The ashes were cold. But the police weren't finished. They wanted the gang. And now, with Olga's confession, they had everything they needed. The Romanian police moved fast. Once Olga confessed, the chain unraveled. She led them to the stove, the ashes, the remnants of canvas and charred frames. Forensics confirmed what she feared. The DNA of masterpieces was in the soot. Interpol was alerted. The Dutch authorities, the Kunstel, art historians, all devastated. 6 masterpieces. Gone. Not hidden. Not sold. Burned in a village stove. Radu, Adrian, and Eugen were arrested. Interrogated. Radu held out the longest, cold, detached, refusing to admit the destruction. He wanted to believe the paintings might have survived. Maybe Olga was lying. Maybe someone else had them. But the evidence was brutal. The traces matched. The art world had lost icons, forever. Octavian, the broker, was caught too. His promises of buyers, his black market connections, all exposed. But it didn't matter now. There was nothing left to sell. The trial was swift. The gang faced charges in Romania and cooperation with Dutch prosecutors. The story made global headlines, not just for the theft, but for the insanity of its ending. A multi-million-dollar heist undone not by cops, not by betrayals, but by a mother's fear. Some whispered that perhaps 1 or 2 paintings survived, smuggled out before the fire. But no proof ever surfaced. And as for Olga, she stood by her decision. She'd rather see the art burn than her son rot in prison. But the irony? She couldn't save him either way. In the end, justice was as cold as the ashes in Olga's stove. Radu Dogaru was sentenced to nearly 7 years in prison. Adrian Procaru, 6 years and 8 months. Eugen and Octavian received their own share of time behind bars. The Kunstel Museum, though insured, never recovered the loss. The paintings were declared destroyed. For the art world, it was an irreplaceable wound, not just millions in value, but history itself, erased by fire. Olga faced no formal charges. She claimed she acted out of fear, out of love for her son. But her village never forgave her. She burned more than paintings. She burned legacy, memory, beauty that could never be recreated. The ashes of Matisse, Monet, Picasso, Gauguin, all gone. To this day, some believe that maybe, just maybe, a few pieces survived. That the mother's confession was a cover. But no proof ever came forward. The official story remains. the greatest masterpieces, reduced to dust. And the last word came from Radu himself, behind prison walls. I didn't just lose freedom. We killed art. And the world will never forget us for that.